Number 8. BMW M1. The BMW M1 entered the decade as the first mid-engine supercar BMW had built for public sale, a product whose development had involved Lamborghini, whose racing variant competed in a one-make series called Pro Car, and whose road car delivered a documented top speed of approximately 162 miles per hour from a 277 horsepower inline-six. The M88 engine, a 5.5-liter twin-cam unit derived from BMW's motorsport program, produced outputs that period road tests confirmed placed the M1 among the fastest production cars available anywhere in the world when it entered production. Car and Driver tested the M1 and recorded the 0 to 60 time at 5.6 seconds, with the top speed figure placing it ahead of every standard production car outside the narrowest exotic tier. BMW produced 453 road-going examples, making it simultaneously the fastest and the rarest BMW that most buyers of the period would ever encounter. The M1 is at number 8 because the cars above it are all faster, but as the car that opened the decade for BMW's supercar ambitions and that still demanded respect in any company it kept, it established the floor of a list that climbs steeply and in some cases dramatically from here. Number 7. Lotus Esprit Turbo HC. The Lotus Esprit Turbo HC for high compression, was the final evolution of a sports car that Colin Chapman had introduced in 1975 and that Lotus had methodically developed across a decade of continuous refinement until it could produce 215 horsepower from a 2.2-liter turbocharged four-cylinder and reach approximately 163 miles per hour in period testing. The HC specification, available from 1987, extracted additional output from the existing engine through revised compression ratio, improved turbocharger mapping, and intake refinements that Lotus's engineers developed without the resources of Ferrari or Porsche's dedicated motorsport divisions. The result was a car that could approach the M1's top speed on roughly the same budget that the larger and heavier German car required, an achievement of engineering efficiency that was characteristic of Lotus's approach throughout the decade. The Esprit Turbo's mid-engine layout and the chassis balance that Lotus's development had dialed in across 12 production years gave it a handling character that Road and Track described as among the most rewarding of any contemporary sports car. It is at number 7 because the cars above it ultimately reached higher verified speeds. Number 6. Ferrari Testarossa. The Ferrari Testarossa was introduced at the 1984 Paris Motor Show as a successor to the Berlinetta Boxer, a car whose side strakes, wide backward bodywork, and flat 12 engine defined the mid-1980s supercar aesthetic as completely as any automobile of the period. The 4.9-liter flat 12 produced 390 horsepower and drove the Testarossa to a documented top speed of approximately 181 miles per hour in period Nardo test track testing, a figure that established it as one of the fastest production cars available from any manufacturer when it went on sale. Car and Driver tested the Testarossa in American specification and recorded 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. The combination of those numbers, the flat 12 soundtrack, and the Ferrari badge made it the decade's most recognizable supercar in popular culture. Its appearance in television advertising and on bedroom walls established a visual shorthand for performance and success that no other car of the period matched as broadly. It is at number 6 because the cars above it pushed further into territory that only a handful of production cars had ever reached, and because between this position and number 5, the measurable gap in documented top speed is a matter of less than 1 mile per hour.
Number 5. Lamborghini Countach LP5000 Quattrovalve. The Lamborghini Countach LP5000 Quattrovalve, the QV designation indicating 4 valves per cylinder, represented the most developed version of a design that Marcello Gandini had created for the 1971 Geneva Motor Show and that Lamborghini had continuously evolved for over a decade without fundamentally altering the shape that had defined the supercar's visual identity. The 5.2-liter V12 in QV specification produced 455 horsepower, and Lamborghini's own testing at the Nardo high-speed circuit documented a top speed of 181.6 miles per hour for a car without the optional rear wing, a figure that independent tests broadly confirmed, with variation depending on aerodynamic specification and atmospheric conditions. The controversy around the Countach's top speed is the decade's clearest reminder that supercar performance claims required careful reading of test conditions. Car and Driver's 1985 American spec test with the rear wing recorded 166 miles per hour, while European spec wingless cars reached significantly higher figures. The QV is at number 5 because no accounting of the decade's fastest European cars can omit the car whose shape defined the entire category, and because in its most favorable documented configuration, the figures place it here. Number 4. Ferrari 288 GTO. The Ferrari 288 GTO was built for Group B racing homologation, a category whose cancellation by the FIA in 1986 following fatal accidents left Ferrari with 272 examples of a car conceived for competition and delivered largely intact to road car buyers. The twin-turbocharged 2.9-liter V8 produced 400 horsepower in a car weighing approximately 1,160 kilograms, a power-to-weight ratio that period testers described as transformative at the speeds it enabled. The documented top speed of approximately 188 miles per hour, established in period testing, placed the 288 GTO ahead of the Countach in most documented comparisons, and established it as the fastest production Ferrari available at the time of its introduction. Road and Track included the 288 GTO in its 1987 supercar shootout at Volkswagen's Erlesian track, where it was outpaced by the Porsche 959 and dramatically by the RUF CTR. The 288 GTO's legacy was not diminished by those results. It established the engineering foundation that the F40 would develop directly, and Enzo Ferrari's decision to build the F40 from the 288 GTO Evoluzione prototype confirmed that the smaller car's architecture was capable of reaching farther than 188 miles per hour. Number 3. Porsche 959. The Porsche 959 was, at its introduction in 1986, the most technically advanced production car ever built. Its specification read like a racing car's: sequential twin-turbocharged flat-six engine, all-wheel drive with electronically variable torque distribution, adaptive suspension, magnesium wheels with integrated tire pressure sensors, and Kevlar body that reduced weight while improving rust resistance. The performance that resulted was equally extraordinary. Road and Track included both the 959 Comfort and the 959 Sport in its 1987 Erlesian shootout and documented 197 miles per hour for the Sport version, a figure that made the 959 the fastest production car in the world at the moment it went on sale, before the RUF CTR's arrival at the same event changed that assessment in the same afternoon. The 3.6 seconds 0 to 60 time was among the fastest ever recorded for a production car during the decade. Porsche built 292 examples at a price that, in period, equated to approximately 3 Ferraris. Bill Gates and Porsche's own Ferry Porsche were among the owners. The 959 is at number 3 because the cars above it reached higher terminal velocities, and because no other 1980s production car assembled comparable engineering breadth in a single platform.
Number 2. Ferrari F40. Enzo Ferrari personally oversaw the F40's development and attended its public debut in July 1987. He died the following year. The car he approved became the first series production Ferrari to exceed 200 miles per hour in documented testing, a threshold that had defined the absolute limit of road car performance for the entire preceding decade.
The twin-turbocharged 3.9-liter V8 produced 478 horsepower in a car whose dry weight of 1,100 kilograms, achieved through carbon fiber and Kevlar construction, the elimination of door handles, carpets, and all non-essential content, produced a power-to-weight ratio that period testers found genuinely alarming to access on public roads. Autocar's 1988 test verified 201 miles per hour. The 0 to 60 time of approximately 4.2 seconds was remarkable. The sensation of the mid-range power delivery was more so. Ferrari built 1,315 F40s, more than the initial 400-unit plan, driven by demand that the car's performance and cultural moment generated simultaneously. The F40 is at number 2 because one car reached further by 10 miles per hour, a margin that at 200 miles per hour is substantial. That car arrived the same year from a manufacturer with none of Ferrari's resources. Number 1. RUF CTR Yellowbird. In April 1987, Road and Track organized a top-speed shootout at Volkswagen's Arlesian test track in Germany. The field included the Porsche 959, the Ferrari Testarossa, the Ferrari 288 GTO, and an unassuming yellow car from a small manufacturer in Pfaffenhausen arrived alongside them. Photographer John Lamb watched it approach from a distance and named it the Yellowbird on the spot. The CTR was based on a Porsche 911 Carrera 3.2, not the more powerful 930 Turbo, but the lighter base car, chosen because Alois Ruf understood that weight was the enemy of top speed. The 3.4-liter twin-turbocharged flat-six produced 469 horsepower in a car weighing 1,150 kilograms. It reached 211 miles per hour in the hands of Phil Hill and Paul Frere. Only 29 CTRs were produced, fewer than any car on this list. The subsequent Nuremberg video, in which RUF test driver Stefan Roser drove the CTR in a manner that remains among the most viscerally impressive automotive footage ever recorded, ensured that the Yellowbird's name outlasted the decade that produced it. It is at number 1 because 211 miles per hour, documented by Road and Track in 1987, is the answer to the question this list asks.